There are a lot of things that you could be upset about right now. Rising food costs for one, the housing crisis, attacks on trans rights and reproductive rights, of course, a lack of affordable healthcare in this country. But podcaster Tim Pool isn't upset about any of those reasons. No. He's upset because he can't sexually harass women in the workplace.
If you go to work and you're a dude and you walk up to another dude and you go, "Whoa, Ricky, you working out, man? You're looking good. That's a nice suit. What is that? What is that made of? Velour? I don't know. Is that a thing? Whatever. A silk robe?" My point is this. If you walk up to a guy and you're a guy and you go, "Whoa, bro, looking good, man. You working out? You lost weight? Wow, great suit, by the way." Nobody cares. Nobody bats an eye. Now imagine the same thing. You're a guy and you walk in, "Ooh, Diane, you're looking good. You working out? That's a nice dress. Oof. You're getting written up." Imagine if you walk up to a guy and you put his hand on his shoulder and say, "You really did a good job out there, man." No one cares. You did it to a woman? Maybe not, but you have the potential to be getting written up. They'll say, "Hey, look, you touched her. She didn't like it. We're warning you not to do it again." You'll be like, "I put my hand on her shoulder and said, good job. You can't be touching employees like this."
Okay, I have thoughts, but let me just get the serious stuff out of the way first. The standard for what's considered sexual harassment in the workplace is exceptionally high. It has to be severe and pervasive, and touching your coworker's shoulder would definitely not reach that standard. Okay, serious stuff out of the way. Even Tim Pool has to be aware of the completely different tone he adopted in his hypothetical compliments, because he's talking about the guy and he's like, "Whoa, Ricky, bro, you're looking great. You've been hitting the gym." But then when he turns to compliment this hypothetical, theoretical woman, Diane, he's like, "Whoa, Diane, I love that dress. Oof." Like he has to know that even in this situation he invented, he sounds creepy when he's trying to compliment the woman.
Yeah, before I get to the main point, I want to build on what you're saying, Ray, about it. So in his own hypothetical, he said that you touched a woman and then after telling her in a creepy way, "You look really good," right? And then he goes and touches the shoulder. And then HR pulls him in. This is not our hypothetical. You can rewind the tape. It's his hypothetical. And says she didn't like it. Yeah, that's called unwanted touching. So doesn't context matter? So these guys pretend as if you don't talk to different people in different ways. So for example, when I'm with my guy friends, do I curse? Hell yeah, I curse a lot, okay? When I go to see my mom, I'm not like, "Hey, mom, how the F are you?" So wouldn't it matter if you were hitting on the woman or not hitting on the woman, hitting on the guy or not hitting on the guy? By the way, if it turns out like you thought the guy had a nice suit, but you were gonna ask him out, and you're like, "Hey, Vinny, nice suit, you look really good. Have you been working out? Let's go get some Red Lobster, huh? And get some cheesy biscuits, and afterwards, you never know what we do." You know what I'm saying? Well then, yeah, that would be sexual harassment. It doesn't matter that you did it to a guy. Like it is so funny, but none of that is as good as the silk robe. Did you notice that? He caught himself when he was like, "Nice velour suit." That's okay, he's live, he doesn't have a prompter, and he's like, whatever, right? That's totally, and he's like, "Or a silk robe." And then it got awkward and he moved on. Why would he be wearing a silk robe at work? And then you look at it and you're like, "Vinny, nice silk robe." No, wait a minute, that is beginning to be sexual harassment.
Yeah, that's towing the line for sure. I don't know in this hypothetical where Tim Pool's working that some guy's just walking in and maybe only a silk robe.
And Tim's instantly like, "Whoa, nice job, Vinny. Are you been working out? How open is that silk robe?"
Oh my God. Okay, but that's not the only thing that Tim Pool had to say about sexual harassment, so let's keep watching.
Look, you go watch a football game and a guy pats the other guy on the butt. The guys in sports give each other firm, open palm slap on the bottoms. Too often for my comfort, I don't quite understand, but they do it. Whatever, I guess. The point is this. Could you imagine a co-ed football team and a guy walks up and just smacks some woman's ass? You're going to get in trouble for that. So that's an interesting point.
That's an interesting point, he says. But I got to point out, Tim saying that the NFL players slapping each other's butts, not Tim's butt, slapping each other's butts, makes him uncomfortable just as a viewer. It's such a massive self-own. And I got more, but I mean, before we get too far removed from the slapping buds comment, Cenk.
He's like, interesting point, he says to himself about his own point. And it made me wonder, is it, Tim? Is it? Because it seems to make the opposite point, if I can follow whatever's called logic on that program, right? So he's like, it really makes me uncomfortable, but they should let guys do it. But they shouldn't let women do it. Oh wait, that's a double standard, the thing I was just complaining about. Interesting point, Tim.
Very interesting point. But to sort of go against Tim Pool's very interesting point, as he described it, men can sexually harass other men in the workplace, and they don't have to be gay to do it. There's Supreme Court precedent that states that. And I could spend some time here explaining the differences between welcomed and unwelcomed contact as it applies to sexual harassment law. But why should I do that when Tim clearly does not care? I mean, okay, just look at this tweet from Tim Pool and tell me that you think he cares about sexual harassment. If sex work is work, then can a boss require women to suck his D as a job requirement? I mean, this is not someone who's very concerned about the sexualization of women in the workplace. I mean, he doesn't care at all. And he claims that that's a joke, whatever. I mean, it's a joke at the expense of a group of people that Tim is not a part of, punching down anyway. But as long as we're punching, I think this is a perfect time to bring back this classic clip of Tim Pool lamenting his struggles with women.
It's crazy that I'm about to be 34 and I have no family, because my dad had 2 kids by the time he was 27.
Yeah,
and I'm like, man, you know what the problem is though? It's definitely not me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's everybody else.
No, Tim, it's definitely you.
I had never seen that clip. Oh my God, this entire show was worth it on that clip alone. Who says that? Like, I would say that as a massive and obvious joke, right? But he's like 100% serious. He's like, no, look, I can't get laid, but it's definitely not me. And not only it's not me, that's already hilarious. It's everyone else.
I can't believe you haven't seen that clip. It's like 2 years old now, but it's my favorite thing I've ever seen in my life.
You see, when I was growing up and I wanted to get girls and I couldn't, I didn't know. It turns out that was everybody else's fault. Okay, and this is gonna be the latest right-wing conspiracy theory. They're like, oh, they stole the election and all the doctors who got together in a global conspiracy to say that the vaccine works when it obviously doesn't. And then all the women in the world got together and pretended that Tim Pool is not attractive when he clearly is. Okay, right, Tim? That's probably it right there. You nailed it again. But I will give Tim some ironic credit. I think that he's more authentic than a guy like Tucker Carlson. And what I mean by that is, when Tucker is doing a show, it's almost purely trolling his own audience. Now, he's not trolling them to make fun of them. He's a pretty smart guy. In the beginning, he didn't know how they thought at all. And then remember, he used to do a show on MSNBC and CNN, and he used to wear a bow tie. And he never said any of these kooky things. He would say very standard mainstream media stuff like, oh, tax cuts for the rich, blah, 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 blah. He eventually, and you saw him, and we documented here on the show, how Tucker Carlson figured out who his audience was and how they would believe anything, how they were the world's biggest suckers and how he could take advantage of it. And then eventually got to, oh, the way to stay healthy is lasering your crotch. You remember that video, right? But I think Tim actually believes these things. Like Tucker has a giant belly laugh after the show. Like, can you believe what we did today? Tim goes home and thinks, I nailed it. Yeah, okay.
I like that the credit you're giving to Tim is that he is as stupid as his audience. That's great. And you know
what, Raymond? Fairest show in America. Don't say I never gave the guy any credit. Okay.
Fair show in America. And I really think, if Tim, Tim's problems with women are probably, all boiled down to the point that he has no Riz. And Cenk, do you know what Riz is?
No, I don't, but I can't wait to find out.
Just try to guess. What do you think that Riz is?
No, all of my guesses will be far too dirty, so I'm not going to guess. Okay. Riz? You know what all right, anyway, go ahead.
Riz is short for charisma.
Oh.
So, usually it's used in a context like, oh, this guy's got no Riz, he can't get women, or, oh, this guy's got unfettered Riz, he can get all the women he wants. So maybe that's Tim's problem. No Riz.
Interesting. Now I know. Okay, I didn't know I had Riz. Apparently I do. Okay. And by the way, if you think I don't, it's not my fault. It's your fault.
It's everybody else.
By the way, all these guys, you remember Jimmy Dore left here and he was attacking us, doing like 1,000 different crazy lies about us. Before it even came out that he was doing sexual harassment earlier, right? He would complain in his videos, he'd be like, oh, Young Turks, they became a real business and they even have HR. Yeah, you have HR so that guys like you don't sexually harass people. That's why you have HR. He's like, oh yeah, can you believe they're not even letting people sexually harass people at TYT? What the hell, man?
Not that different from the Tim Pool video. I also just want to end by saying, these conservatives are always complaining about, oh, this woke racial training or these woke sexual harassment trainings in the workplace. They exist so that the company doesn't get sued. The company doesn't really actually care about, promoting these woke ideologies. They don't want to get sued. And they have to have these programs in place so that the burden of proof can be shifted away from them in a potential lawsuit, especially under Title VII. And if you get a little bit lawyery there.
That's definitely true. But also, if you're a good guy company, if such things exist, and we like to think we are, you also don't want creeps coming around and touching women when they specifically don't want to be touched, and then going like, oh, you look good, baby. You look good, and now everybody knows I'm the guy. But if you don't think I'm the guy, it's your fault. No, I don't. No, I don't want that happening here. That's crazy. So, but that thought doesn't even occur to them. Like, of course, everybody wants that. They're just pretending they don't want it. No, we don't, Tim. You're not getting it. But I will end on this. Ray, you know who's got Riz?
Who?
The guy in the silk robe.
Vinny's got Riz.
You show up to work in a silk robe, you're littered with Riz.
Just drenched in Riz, absolutely.
Especially if Tim's around. Anyway. Apparently we had fun. And you know what? We're an educational show. Now you learned. I learned. Some of you might have already known, but some of you learned along with me. Now you know what Riz is, okay? And that Tim Pool has none of it. Okay, all right, that's your public service announcement for the day. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.